A lot of bun in this oven.
Touche. Okay, wait. So
this more like a pound cake.
It's not just a loaf of bread. Not this time. So last episode we forgot about wife and kids. Okay, so we gotta at least address that. Charges to our head, not our heart. Mm-hmm. But My Wife and Kids is one of our favorite shows of all time.
How do we forget about My Wife and Kids? And we would watch it so much.
I don't know. We were thinking more.
I guess because we haven't watched it in a really long time. Probably since we moved.
Yeah, since we moved, yeah. I haven't watched it since we moved, at least. But that's our jam.
Mm-hmm.
So,
the girl on there, the little girl who played Katie?
Uh-huh.
She just had a baby.
Wait.
Yes.
Like Franklin's?
Yes, little baby Katie.
Are you kidding me? We old?
I know, right?
Wow. Okay,
He's churn, having churn. Look at me.
I know you ain't talking. Literally. But yeah, we definitely, and we missed categories game shows. By the way, we're getting this information from
people who listen.
Not people who listen, sir. We gotta have Sir on the podcast ASAP.
He's a real TV king.
Yes, and we need to have a whole episode of just TV stuff, but also podcast stuff, So, but shout out to Sir. But hello, welcome to Taking the Stage.
Welcome.
Another episode of the Math Guy Steve and Paige Paige Babe. Mm-hmm. Just shooting a breeze, you know how we do, First
Wait,
of all,
what
I
the
see you
lady
over
here. Do you feel me? Yeah, you do.
Yeah, you do. Praise him.
No, she said, give thanks.
Oh, give thanks.
That was hilarious.
Give thanks.
You see me looking at what?
I saw you trying to scoop what I had on the docket for today. But before we get to that, how was your day, Poopy?
It was good. It was relaxing. You found out you didn't really have to do much today.
Yeah.
So it was good. Us being home. I feel like we never get time like we got today.
True.
So just that always feels good. Nothing. Yeah. My mom came over and helped us. Because these days I am not trying to wash clothes and mop floors. So that was a huge help.
Mom literally came over just to hang out, wash clothes, mop floors, help with Mel. It was so definitely needed. Yeah.
And I was still tired. She was like, baby, I know you tired. You've been up all day. And I'm like, I know.
Now we appreciate Mom's thoroughly for sure. Mm-hmm. She helped out a lot. Yeah, today was a good day. I found out it was a whole switch up with the class I had to teach. I thought it was going to be on Wednesdays. It's going to be on Thursday nights. So I didn't have to teach tonight. So I didn't have to go to the city or whatever, blah, blah. But anyway, it was a good day. It was family day. It was supposed to be family day tomorrow. We changed it to today to replace it. So it was family day. We just hung out.
It was mostly a resting day.
Resting day.
That's what we did. We all kind of rested on and off because we had a very long weekend. So
yeah. And so yesterday actually was the first day. Well, Tuesday was the first day I had like completely off for a couple days, which I thought it was going to be until today, but still tomorrow. So anyway, it was a good week. I mean, good day, good week. It's a good week,
right?
Last week, and so so today's episode, I just go out and say it. Just throw it out there.
Oh my goodness! Wait, I don't even know the topic at all.
I know. So now we're just gonna throw it out there. I'm not even gonna.
Please be something I like. Let's see.
Paige, are you black for real? Like, are you black? Or would you consider yourself black in other people's eyes? Like, are you black?
I believe so.
Okay. That's what the whole episode about.
Black stuff?
Well, okay. So what is blackness? And the reason I bring this up is because, So as a huge part of our upbringing specifically. So I grew up in New Orleans, a black male, but also I grew up in a 2-parent household, which some people at times had looked down on. But also I grew up, well, they looked down on it in the sense that, oh, so you think you better than thou, that type of thing. And then I was educated or well-educated, or I did well in school. Let's go with that. And so I was looked down at, oh, so you just hang with them white people? Oh, okay, so you think you smarter than, so you're not really, are you really black? That type of, like, you get those jokes all the time. Did you not?
Yeah, but that's because I went to school with a lot of white people.
Well, I did too. But also even though I went to school with a lot of white people, the black people in my community, black people I knew outside of school would look at you different or say different things. And so that's the reason I brought it up, is because to destroy that, karma, or destroy that narrative that what is blackness, you know, back when we grew up, what was that? And then what is it now? Is that, I mean, how does it down on, you know, as far as...
Okay, deep episode. I'm down for a challenge. Okay.
I didn't mean it to be deep. I just meant to be, I mean, a topic for us to talk about.
Okay.
All right, so so you went to private school. How was that as far as your quote unquote blackness, and then how did that, you know, how did that affect you in the long run, or how did that, you know?
I think that at times it was a little weird because, like, at home I wasn't black enough, and then at school I wasn't white enough. If that makes sense.
Well, explain. It does, but explain. Like
at school, I feel like I was too black. And then at home, I think that I wasn't black enough. I know I'm saying the same thing.
And I understand.
Like, do you see what I'm saying?
At school part, I get 100% because, I mean, you're around a lot of people that aren't of your culture, aren't of your nature, honestly, or just, you know, you aren't, you didn't grow up the same way. Whereas at home, I don't
also think sometimes when you grow up when you're at school with people who aren't really like you, you kind of like, sometimes you feel you have to overcompensate a little bit.
Yeah.
To really like reinforce, like, no, like y'all, but not like y'all type of thing. And so that's how it felt sometimes.
Yeah, I feel that because I mean, even especially like being like on baseball team and football team, I felt that same way. It's kind of like, but I have to show you how black I am, or why is that a thing?
But then again, it's like school, and this is like pre-college, so it's like high school when everything is kind of like that. Not even the black or white thing. It's just childish high school stuff too, like on top of it.
Well, but even on the same level though, it's crazier because so like when you're on sports teams, your coaches are mostly white as well. So now you have to prove yourself to them too. Like, okay, well I am, you know, it seems like it's a different dynamic where it's like I have to prove myself to this white coach who I don't think is even qualified to be the coach because I'm smart enough because I'm in this school, that type of thing. So now it's a whole different dynamic where it's like, yeah, but I mean, I'm pretty good at what I do. I don't think you even know what you. So it's that whole different dynamic as well. So it's a little weird. But I want to get back to what you said. The at home part. You said you don't feel black enough at home. Oh, sorry, you don't feel white enough at home. Why was that?
I didn't say white enough.
Okay, what'd you say?
I said at home, I wasn't black enough.
Oh, sorry. At home you weren't black. Okay, why was that then?
Because it's just when, you know, I was, raised a lot differently than my, I guess, peers in my neighborhood and stuff. And so one, I had an older mom, and my grandparents were really they like helped us out all the time, and so I was basically raised around a whole bunch of older people.
I know. I know most of them.
So just off jump, like the way that I conducted myself was already different, and then throwing like the whole school thing on top of it, that just made people think, oh, she whitewashed and da-da-da. You know, like things people would say back then.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you got a lot of the same things said to you.
Oh, yeah, big facts. I was never on, like you said, same thing. The reason I asked is because I felt the same way at the time. Just kind of, you know, at home, you feel quote unquote whitewashed, or feel kind of, well, you just, you know, you always in the books, or you a math person.
So
and
it's like a slight, you know, identity crisis that you go through during that time. Yeah. Because when you're a preteen, teenager, and all of that stuff, you're navigating some real shaky waters. So, you know, life is hard enough, but adding something like that onto it definitely, I don't know, it shapes who you are.
It does.
Makes you better.
Well, and this is the reason. Well, okay, a huge part of why I wanted to do this specific podcast. You called it deep, but it was more so though we felt that way. Well, okay, at least me. Mm-hmm. I know I felt that way because I felt isolated in that feeling, right? Mm-hmm. Whereas, like, I feel quote unquote, okay, I don't know if I fit in here, there, or wherever I fit in is because. I'm in a weird situation. I'm very me and my family are very religious. I know a lot of stuff, so I'm intelligent. I'm also a black person in America, in New Orleans. It was like this. I felt very specific, or what is it called when you're different. Okay, you're black, you're a woman, you're
intersectionality.
Yeah. My intersectionality felt so specific that I didn't fit in, and so I felt alone. But I wanted to do it to make sure that we all know that. But I mean, I met you and we felt a lot of those same things because we weren't alone. We just felt alone.
Yeah.
So that type of thing. So, what does it mean to be black? There is no definition.
I know.
Or not any specific definition, but I want to, in your head, what does it mean to be black? What does it mean to be black in America, I guess? Or let's talk specifically America. That's where we are.
For me?
For you specifically. For Paige, Spru, Andrews.
It would be, first of all...
I went government. I know. I knew you was going to say it. What does it mean?
For me, it would be... you know, living in my truth, who I am, who I think I am, and being strong-willed in that, and not letting anyone decide that for me, then also not playing into people's perception of me. Like, it took me a long time to realize, like, you know, what you think about me, that doesn't have anything to do with me. It's more so it has everything to do with you. And so, I don't know, and me today and realizing all of that, being black is being confident in being me, because that's who I am.
I'm with you. I'm on a similar spectrum as far as what I think about what it means for me to be black in America. Is kind of honestly to have all of America be against you and you still succeed. Mm-hmm. To be down in the gutter and still succeed. To be up on a high hill, be shot down for nothing and still succeed. That type of thing. Like, it's that feeling that you have where it's everything is you're
resilient.
Resilient. That's yeah. That's yeah. There we go. That summarizes it. So in what specific ways did private school, I guess, form your mentality or what it means to be black, quote unquote? Do you think it helped or hurt it or hurt it? Is that a word?
No, it's not.
It's not a word? You sure? I only got a master's degree. I'm not hurt it? That's not a okay. Did it help it or hurted it?
Did it help it or hurted it?
Yeah.
A little bit of both.
Okay. In what way?
Because, like, I would try to keep up with the things that my classmates were into. Mm-hmm. Like, music-wise, style-wise. You know, any high school girl would. Mm-hmm. And, I think in a way that kind of hurt a little bit, hurt me a little bit, because I didn't really tap into other things like urban music and stuff like that until I was a lot older.
Okay.
And
so you're just more like pop and kind of going with the flow of what the people you knew. Okay.
Yeah. And what was the other part? How did it help?
Or did it help or hurt, or in what ways did it do either one of those?
Oh, yeah, and I said both. And the ways that it helped, I would say just being around my other classmates who were black. There was very few of us. And so, of course, we all like hung out together and things like that. And so
you're still friends to those people?
Right. I am. Still friends.
Most of those were, and I wasn't.
Yeah. But just being able to feel like you have a community.
Okay.
And that you're not alone. And some things that other people didn't get, you know, they got it.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. And so we were like our own little like sub community within the school.
Yeah, no, so me growing up, again, being in the church, I didn't have much friends. I wasn't allowed to have friends because they were all heathens and sinners. Mm-hmm. And so when I got to high school, I was a little more free because I was able to play sports and knew different types of people, white, black, Hispanic, Asian, etc. And so I was able to interact with them a little bit more on a personal level. Mm-hmm. And I knew them a little bit more. And so I just got to know cultures a little bit differently. And then, I guess that in a long run affected me, as you said, positively and negatively, because it's kind of, you get to know, okay, that's how people outside of your tribe live. Mm-hmm. So you get to, understand people a little bit more. But also you understand that everybody doesn't, grow up the same way you grew up, mm-hmm. with foundations of faith or foundations mm-hmm. of family or foundations of, wanting to do the best for the next person, that type of thing. Everyone doesn't have that. And so you're a little bit, it's a tug of war. It's kind of like, I want to reach out to people, but also I don't want to offend people as well. Mm-hmm. That type of feeling. So it's a curious dynamic of when, like you said, when you're in high school, you're still learning yourself. Right. So you're trying to, struggle with, okay, who am I? What am I? But also, why am I? That type mm-hmm. of feeling, I
know there are some things that we try to like keep up with, but then there were other things where we would be like, nah, that's some straight up white people stuff. We cannot get into that.
You want to give some examples? I have some.
Like sex, drugs, and all of that stuff. Like, I wasn't trying to do none of that. Like, I was like, y'all are not about to get me beat down.
First of all, sex, drugs, and sex are not a white thing. That is everybody thing in high school.
To me, it was.
That wasn't me specifically. Okay, not everybody. That's a multicultural thing.
I was like, I don't know anybody who was out here doing all of this. Well, at such a young age.
Yeah, that's a multicultural thing. Now, it shouldn't be necessarily, but yeah, that's not, that crosses culture.
Oh, I definitely thought that was just some like white girl stuff. Because I was like, ain't no way.
Well, in high school, I was a prude, so like taking my word on high school stuff is kind of, Steve, you did, you're right. You sex, drugs, rock and roll, all of it's bad. I don't hear none of it.
And then like, it wasn't until like after high school where you hear some stories and it's like, all of that stuff was going on and I had no idea.
Well, that's the crazy part. I knew the posts for the most part of like students in the high school but I was just such a prude that I was what is it called when you just don't want to believe like what's in front of your face, what's it called, naive. I was naive to like what exactly.
Well, maybe that's what I was, because I was like
you can tell people who was like something wrong with dude, but I don't really like, I don't really want to judge him like that. Like, that's not my place. There's like, once you grow older, you're like, oh, he was on drugs every day.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. I'm like, and I would be like, at school?
Yeah. now that I think about it, yes, at school, every day.
And people would be like,
I saw him go to the bathroom all the time.
Yeah. They'd be like, Paige, where were you? And I'm like, I was there, but this was going on.
Right? You're just so naive and oblivious to like, what's in front of your face? Because
to me, it's like things like that at that age, those things just didn't happen. It wasn't normal in my life.
Yeah.
And so
there's no reason for you to believe otherwise.
Right.
Like you just, oh, well, he probably, like you give everybody the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
And not realizing like, no, people don't live. That's what I meant by that foundation part. People don't live how you live. They didn't grow up how you grew up. So you just give them benefit of the doubt undeservingly, clearly. Because they was wilding out on you. Another part that, and more specifically to us too, growing up, how we grew up, the high schools that we were in, oftentimes, at least I'm going to speak for me, but I think it holds for you as well. Oftentimes, because we were melanin colored people in the schools that we were at, our intelligence was questioned. And how did that make you feel? How did that play a part? Or do you have any examples of what that felt like during those times?
Why would I be melanin and colored?
I just meant melanin, comma colored. I didn't mean both. I just meant some people don't like being called colored. So I just meant I put the melanin in there as a preface, but
I was joking.
I know you were.
Intelligence was questioned.
So let me give an example. So I was always good at math. I was very intellectual and I till this day I think a lot, way more than probably I should. But that stems from I didn't want to be outsmarted oftentimes. Oftentimes, and one of my friends jokes about this. I think I said it on a previous podcast, but I'll say it again. One of my friends jokes about, there's an Asian chick, she says that even the Asian people cheated off Steven in math class, in calculus, and trig, and algebra 2, etc. And that's because I was so good at math, but it was because I didn't want to seem like I didn't fit. I was smart. I was smart enough to be there. So I went out of my way to always be smart enough. And in a sense, that kind of still hinders me because now I said this in my message recently, but I was always trying to be the smartest person in the room rather than, and I didn't say this part, but rather than just being in the room and enjoying the room, because I was trying to outsmart everybody or trying to be better than or higher than thou type of feeling. But that stems from always trying to struggle with, well, but you can't not be smart enough, otherwise you don't fit in the room. That type of thing. So did you ever have that type of feeling or needed to be, your intelligence being questioned? Then, was that ever a thing for you?
No, because I feel like in high school, I was just like in the room for the most part. I had the things that I was really good at and things that I was terrible at. History.
Yeah. Oh, I was terrible at everything else. Science maybe,
but I also understood that I had a greater responsibility because a lot of those girls were already set up. After high school.
Yeah.
So they didn't have anything to worry about after high school.
Mm-hmm.
Even if they were going to college and things like that, whereas I did. Mm-hmm. And so I understood that part of it. But I think that a lot of it, I don't think it was more so... You saying me questioning my intelligence, or was my intelligence question?
Was your intelligence question? That's what I meant.
No, I just think that
but did you question
a lot of people off bat kind of put this stigma on the black girls, like, you ghetto. Yeah. That's what it was. It was just like childish in that sense. Mm-hmm. It's either they kind of like loved us too much to where it kind of felt like a fetish, or to where it did.
No, I know exactly what you mean. That's why I'm laughing. Go ahead.
Or it was like, you cool, but I'm going to keep my distance. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And my mouth was real smart back then. So
back then? What is back then? It ain't changed. Wait, so on that same vein, did you ever question your own intelligence?
No. No. Sometimes in like the things that I was like, I wasn't good in at all, I'm like, how, like, I know that y'all don't study. Like, I see what y'all are doing. Right. How on earth are y'all making all these A's? And I'm like,
how are you
I'm staying up. I'm not going to sleep. Mm-hmm. I'm up all night. And I'm like, it's not working out for me. But then you find out other things, like people have private tutors or taking certain medications.
Or they just cheating.
And playing old cheating. Mm-hmm. Things like that, and it's like, okay, well, some people just have, that's what it was.
Yeah, it same thing. So I remember vividly my senior year, right after the hurricane, and me going to high school in Baton Rouge, and so we went to the only school that had gifted. They were able to give gifted classes, mm-hmm. Which was McKinley. And I say we because it was me and my brother, but also it was a bunch of Franklin students. And more specifically, I'm going to say Nikki. And Aww. I know, right?
I miss her.
And so, but I remember me and Nikki being in the most classes because we were both gifted with the same year and that type of thing. And I remember a specific look that she would give me across the room for, like, it was a gifted class, but we're looking at each other like, how are people not, doing amazing in this class? Because we remember the tools that we had to learn from Franklin. Like you said, okay, well, it's people that's, have all the upper hands on us, and we had to learn how to navigate through that, mm-hmm. and then we get to an actual level playing field. It's like, this is how it's supposed to be because we hasten everything. So it's kind of, you realize, okay, when it is a level playing field, then we all should be eating. But only because it's not, that's the reason why we got to pick and choose where we eat at and that type of thing. So
yeah, I had a similar experience during the hurricane year because I had to go to public high school mm-hmm. for the first time. And I was like, it was shocking to me. It was basically like you were going to school, but not going to school.
How you mean?
Like you literally didn't have to do anything. It's like the school bus would pick you up, you would go to school and sit in your class. That was it. I remember one of the classes was like history or something. I told you I was bad at history at my high school. So when I got there, I was like, oh man, here we go again, basically. And literally all we had to do, the teacher gave us this sheet with like 30 films on it. And he was like, watch 15 of these films. and write a 1-page paper on the ones you pick. And that's how you pass the class.
Wow.
And then on top of that, he was even like, well, let me know if you're struggling or anything because of the
watching
hurricane.
The films?
Right. And I was like, you mean watching TV? He was like willing to just go ahead and give me an A because I was like one of the hurricane kids.
Right. But it was, okay.
Yes, that's what it was.
I don't want to say it's that easy because I know some people struggle with it, but it's just kind of coming from the struggle that we had to go through, and then being thrown into this seemingly such a breeze type of situation. It and let's be fair, our high schools were specifically preparing you to be college students, right?
Right.
And so they were, okay, this is what's going to happen in college, so you have to, always be studying and always be prepared and always, be worried about the next thing that's going on in school. Whereas that's not how normal life is, number one. But number two, that's not how normal students are. So when you get to...
I'm going to say college was a breeze.
Bruh. and actually, and I'll be fair, I did nothing in college other than my math classes. The rest
probably
of it...
because you finally were able to relax.
Well, and I think that's what it was. I BS my way through college. I'm allowed to say BS, though that's not a curse word. That's 2 letters.
People know what it means.
Yeah, it means bull stuff. Bull stuff.
Oh my goodness.
Bad Santa. It means bad Santa. Anyway, but I BS my way through college because, like you said, I was able to breathe, and it was kind of, what am I focused on? I'm focused on these math classes. I'm trying to get my master's, at least my master's, my PhD in math, so that I can teach. That was my goal in the first place. So all that to say, in high school was kind of, that last year, yeah, we a lot easier than the
the hurricane year was your last year, right?
That was my senior year, yes.
Oh.
Yeah, that was my senior year. The original question, let's go back to it. Blackness. What is it? Okay, since you don't know, since I don't know, since we don't know, let's go to some games.
Not a game?
Okay, a game called...
We need a mid-show game theme song. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do.
Okay. Blackness. Are you black enough?
That sounds like perfume.
Or not. Anyway.
Oh my goodness.
This is just infamous game Black Cards Revoked. This is just a quiz.
Here you go.
No, this is not that game. It's just a Quizlet on that game. So let's go with it. If Young Metro don't trust you, what might Future do?
Oh, shoot you.
Oh, okay, good. Okay.
Oh, good. I got one. Come on.
What's one stereotypical thing that we secretly love?
One stereotypical thing.
So out of these 4, remember?
Okay.
Remember how Black Cards Revoked goes is categories, and then you're actually supposed to be like 10 people or 5 people or a group of people, and then whoever has the least amount loses.
No, I never played this game.
We've watched it being played though.
Oh, okay.
On YouTube, but anyway, so that's how it's supposed to be. I'm just trying to get the questions part out. So, what's one stereotypical thing that we secretly love? Is it strawberry lemonade, grape drink, fried chicken, or diabetes? Okay, those are the 4.
So funny. Wait, say it again.
Strawberry lemonade. No, stop looking. Strawberry lemonade, grape drink, fried chicken, or diabetes. Which one would you go with?
That we
stereotypically.
That we secretly love.
No, stereotypically thing that we secretly love. Yes.
Fried chicken.
I think secretly love. That's everyone knows that. I think grape drink was a secretly.
Well, I only say that because I've always heard people be like, they don't eat fried chicken in front of white people.
Oh, that's the secret loophole. Okay, I got you. Yeah.
So that's what I thought you meant. I don't really know anybody who drinks grape drink. I just know it from the Dave Chappelle skit.
You don't know anybody? I used to love grape drink.
Like.
I realize it's terrible for my health, but yes.
Oh.
Not grape juice, grape drink. Yes. Not even Kool-Aid. We doing a grape drink. Oh Okay. What might mama say you need in order to get some?
Wait, what's the answer?
Paige, there is no answer.
Oh.
That's the point of the game. If you have a bunch of us, the loser, whoever votes the least, whoever voted for the least one, it gets docked.
Like Cards Against Humanity.
Similar, yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, but we're not in a group, so we're just answering the questions. Or asking the questions. What might mama say you need in order to get some McDonald's? A job? A clue? Good grades?
A job.
Yeah, I would say a job. Good grades is close, though. You better get some good grades if you want some McDonald's. Okay.
We only ever got McDonald's when we would have to go to the doctor in the middle of the day.
Oh, we rarely got McDonald's. It was always Rallies or Wendy's. We never really got McDonald's like talking about it.
My grandmother used to sneak and get us Rallies, and my mom hated it.
Really? Mm-hmm. Wait, why?
I guess because she felt like it was bad for us. One, she didn't really feed us stuff like that all the time anyway. So the only time we would really have like fast food and stuff was if my grandmother got it for us. And she would be really upset.
They don't believe you. Okay. Who wrote Lift Every Voice and Sing, the Negro National Anthem? Langston Hughes, James Weldon Johnson, or Booker T. Washington?
Oh. I don't know, but I know the song.
This should be pretty clear, Paige. The other two people we know. The only reason I don't know James Weldon, the only reason I know James Weldon Johnson is because he wrote this.
Really?
What else he wrote?
Oh, true that.
I know Booker T. Washington. I know Langston Hughes. You're silly, child.
It could have been a collab.
A collab? What year is this? 07. Who was Oprah Winfrey's best friend?
Gail.
Gail King.
You know her middle name is Gail?
Who? Oprah?
Orpah.
Orpah? Her middle name girl?
Gail.
I was trying to...
Oh, look at me. Gail. All in your face.
No, we talking Gail. Paige. Okay, according to Kanye, who doesn't have the answers? Taylor Swift, Beck, or Jay-Z?
Who doesn't have the answers?
Yeah, I don't think we're seeing the whole
Taylor
cards
Swift?
Oh, no. Okay, we're not seeing the whole cards here.
Because don't they have beef?
Okay, here we go. Different question. Don't worry about it. Ignore that one.
Oh.
Jerome from Martin is a player from...
The Himalayas.
The Himalayas. In which city was MLK Jr. killed? Okay. Is it Memphis, Atlanta, Washington?
No, Memphis.
Yeah, that's right.
Wait, you know my mom told me the other day, she was like, you don't remember staying at the hotel, like the hotel where he passed? I was like, what?
First of all, why would you remember that?
Right.
Unless, like, you were a teenager already or something.
Right. And she was like, well, y'all were little, so you probably don't know. And I'm like, a historic moment like that? She just, like, said it, and I was like, girl.
Do you have pictures? Can I see the pictures?
I know, I'm like, you don't have anything to commemorate it.
So the next thing I have is, and this is a weirder thing to talk about, but I think it's important. So our daughter is
off the chain.
She is off the chain. She off the chain in every sense. She's rather intelligent for a 2-year-old. Also, she don't listen at all. But also, she's rather light skinned.
Oh goodness, my poor baby.
Do you think that's going to affect her in her life, but also as far as how people see her as black?
Not as much as it would have if she grew up when we did.
Okay, how you mean?
Like, I think that the whole light skin thing was huge. Mm-hmm. Like, back when we were growing up. Mm-hmm. Like, everybody wanted to be light skin, racially ambiguous and all of that. Mm-hmm. And I think nowadays, black is in. I hate to say it that way.
No, you're right.
But it is, and it's whatever shade of black you are. Mm-hmm. I mean, you still find certain little corners where some people
are idiots.
Revel in the fact that they have light skin and a certain type of hair or whatever, but I think she'll be okay.
Yeah, I think so too, and I think it won't be, like you said, as big of a deal that she is black or that she's black and light skinned mm-hmm. as it was in our day. I remember specifically, I've told you the story, so it's funny to me. But in elementary, I dated twins. It was two different chicks.
Okay, player. You dated twins at the same time?
Not at the same time, Paige. Also, it's elementary. You're not really dating. Y'all just go together, quote unquote. Anyway, but one of them was light skinned. One of them was a little darker, and not even dark skinned, but like a little bit darker. And you know, when I dated the light skinned one, I dated the dark skinned one first, then the light skinned one, and you know, it was how people saw me was totally different. I was like, why are y'all saying that? I thought it was really, really weird at the time.
Were your parents okay with you saying dated like that?
It was just, we go together. It wasn't really, I'm calling it dated now.
But a lot of wouldn't even go for the joke of that.
But it was.
Well, you have younger parents too, so that's
also it was. Well, it was accepted, I guess. I don't know. We didn't even go on dates. It was just kind of, when you at school, that's what we say. Girl, you know I go with her. Y'all know we hang together all the time. We barely even kissed. Like, it wasn't even like nothing.
Barely even kissed? What?
On the cheek.
Y'all was kissing?
On the cheek.
Really?
That was real talk. We hung together on the jungle gym and everything. Yeah. That was my old lady.
Yes, indeed.
That was my old lady.
You going on dates at 7 years old?
Dates? Paige.
Jungle gym could be a date spot.
Then you went on plenty of dates.
No.
Oh, you was racing them? Well, anyway, so all that to say, but it was just weird because how people, even then, even that mm-hmm. young age, I could realize that people treated, you know, lighter skinned people differently. So and you always wanted the chocolate dud as your baby. And
not
then
chocolate dud.
What you call it? Milk dud. You call it milk dud.
Yeah, milk dud, baby.
Okay, a chocolate milk dud.
Chocolate dud like I wanted.
I meant chocolate milk dud. That's what I meant. But you wanted that as a baby, and then Mel came out, and you were like, "Oh, so no."
I know.
Nothing similar to that.
I asked the doctor. I was like, "She's supposed to be pink," and they were cracking up.
You had to say it about my daughter like that, though.
She was very pink. I was like, "She do you remember Ariane came in? She was like, "Oh, she's rather light."
She's a bit pale there, right? But I think back then, I guess that stems from us, or at least for me, it stems from mm-hmm. how, you know, growing up, light-skinned people were just treated totally differently.
Right.
Whereas now it's kind of, you know, like you said, it's a little more in to be just black in general, but also it, you know, you aren't affected, you know, and even in the black community, you aren't, you know, treated completely differently than you were back then, because back then, you know, light-skinned people were treated as, oh, so, well, your parents, you got half white parents, half white grandparents? Oh, okay, well then, you know, you have this privilege. It was assumed. Whereas nowadays it's not necessarily assumed mm-hmm. that in that way. So, I'm glad you brought up hair, though. Mm-hmm. I'm curious to your thoughts on quote-unquote good hair as far as the black culture is concerned, because when I grew up, we were often told we had quote-unquote good hair. Now, you wouldn't believe it from how my hair looks right now. I know.
I'm about to say.
You try not to see it. That's fine. That's fine. That's okay. So my mom has quote-unquote good hair.
Yeah, she has very straight hair.
She has very straight hair and long hair. And it grows naturally out of her head. That's how hair mm-hmm. grows.
And that has zero hair, according to Genesis.
Well, zero. Don't worry, Pop's not gonna listen to the podcast anyway, so it's okay. So growing up, we were told we had quote unquote good hair. Mm-hmm. It was mainly because our hair was similar to my mom, similar to my grandfather's, similar to his mom's. And so it was weird for me when you got good hair, huh? And, you know, I've watched the documentaries, not only Chris Rock's documentary called Good Hair, but also other documentaries on what it means to have good hair and how that culture affects one when you're growing up. Uh-huh. I'm just curious on your thoughts on what it means to have good hair. And because supposedly Mel has good hair. But I don't even know what that means. And I don't know, is that a thing?
Well, I think it's also more of a thing for girls.
Okay.
I think that growing up, girls were a lot of pressure was put on us about our hair. Mm-hmm. Like for a boy, it really didn't matter. Most boys kept haircuts anyway.
Exactly.
So it didn't matter. I think that it all came down to like how manageable your hair was.
Okay.
And so, good hair would always be like, what are the hair types?
4C.
Yeah, would be like 3B. Like 3B. 2 or 3 or whatever. Mm-hmm. And so it would be like, that wavy or curly, mm-hmm. not kinky. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I think growing up, I was always told that I had very thick hair. And so I was always complimented on mine because I've always had hair. But I did see people who would, like, I guess their parents would put, like, weaves in and things like that. And you would just see people be called, like, bald head scatterrat.
Bald head scatterrat. I know the phrase. We can use it. It's okay.
And people stuff like that.
It was acceptable to call people that.
It's terrible the things we used to say back then.
It was just we should never have said it, but yes.
But
I never called them that. Okay, not never, but I rarely call people that. But yes.
Or I would see like the girls come to school with like the hard brush and gel and like throughout the day. But yeah, and I don't know. Some people get made fun of because they had short hair or would wear like, I know people would get made fun of a lot because they wore their hair natural, because having natural hair back then was like, you ain't gonna do something about that. Like that's how it was. And like being like straight and relaxed was the thing.
And I remember vividly people making fun of, and I mean I stood back as an innocent bystander, but I heard it all. It was like, wow, how are you gonna talk about people like that just because that's how their hair literally grows out of their head? I remember the reason why I grew out my hair was because of a song. I Am Not My Hair by India.Arie, is because I realized that, your hair doesn't define you. It doesn't make you. It doesn't. And I remember the reason I took that song to heart was because I saw someone who I went to high school with who had to cut her hair off. And I remember like, nah, I mean, she's just as beautiful as she was even before. So anyway, all to say, it was just kind of a good hair was it was a weird term for me to hear. Okay, you have good hair, right? Mm-hmm. Where number one, I didn't even grow my hair out long, but okay, so back in the Gap, we had a fade, but also when I was a kid, we had
that old nasty ponytail,
curly. It wasn't like at first we had plaited ponytails, but then, or vice versa. But at one point we had like a little spiral curly ponytail, and it was kind of, why are you making that face, Paige? They can see you. It's on video. That's gonna be on the YouTube.
I had never seen anybody with that, like until I saw y'all's photos. Other than Smart Guy, like I didn't know anyone.
Did we include Smart Guy in the last episode?
I think I said Smart Guy.
Oh, girl, I thought we missed Smart Guy. Mm-hmm. Okay, go ahead.
But yeah, I didn't know anybody with that.
Yeah,
it's kind of like when men shave like all the facial hair off, and then they only keep the little flavor saver part.
Right.
That's what that's.
It's called a soul patch.
Or a soul patch.
Flavor saver. Never mind. Anywho.
That's not what it's called? That's
yeah,
what I heard it's called?
You know why it's called that, Paige?
The flavor saver?
Go ahead and think about it. I'll wait. Don't worry, the podcast will wait. Why is this part called a flavor saver?
Oh, like how you when you how you be eating, you be like, oh, I was saving that flavor when I say, oh, you got something right here.
What, Paige? That's why it's called that. Yes. Go ahead and think about it. Yes.
But people say that on TV though.
I'm just saying that's why it's called that.
Oh, that's nasty. That is nasty.
Well, I'm just saying that's the reason why. Okay.
You mean to tell me I've been yelling out flavor saver?
I didn't even know what you were talking about. That's fine. The last part I wanted to bring up is that so a huge part of being black, supposedly, and I use that word intentionally wrong, supposedly, is whether or not one uses a specific word.
Ooh.
We call it the N-word.
Ooh.
Now, the reason I bring this up is because it's pretty important to understanding me and Paige's dynamic, right? So I'm a huge advocate of the use of the word nigga. I'll say it.
You said it like, I ain't scared. This is your podcast. You can say what you want on it.
True shade, my trigger. True shade. But that went to the point that so I use the word nigger. I use all of them. Nigga. I use all of them. But Paige does not. And so out of respect for her, I don't call her that word either. Because Paige does or tries her hardest not to use the word. She doesn't agree with it.
Yeah, I don't. That's not my everyday language.
Yeah, she doesn't agree with the necessary use for the word. Which is weird because, that's a huge part of being black, whether one agrees or disagrees on whether one should use that word or not.
And I wouldn't say that I absolutely never, ever, ever use it or have never
you've used it. It's just not.
Yeah, it's just not something that I commonly say.
So let's explain why you think you should or you don't use the word. Why is that not in your lexicon?
Well, it has never been. I've never really liked the word. I don't like the origin of the word. I don't like the we reclaiming it sort of thing. Because in my mind, I'm like, I still know where it came from though. And so that's a big part of why I just never really used it. I don't know. I just don't really think it's that great of a word, I guess.
Yeah. Which, and I can get your point. I got it a long time ago when you explained it to me. It's just, I use it only because I'm the other way, right? Whereas I think about the reclaiming of the word. I think about how it's the one thing that black people are supposed to say and white people are not supposed to say. And so, but also it's been used so often in my life that it's just second nature. And honestly, and
that's why I've never been upset when people use it around me and stuff like that.
Hold on.
Don't call me.
Wait. No, let's be specific because that leads into my actual last point.
Oh, when black people use it around.
Okay. So this is my actual last point.
Because I done got into some people's hinds over that word.
So at one point, I was of the mindset that if I'm going to use the word, I was one of these. If I'm going to use the word, anybody can use the word. I feel
we used to get into it over that.
And we used to get into it all the time about this. Right? Well, before I get to that, I did want to bring up, because I forgot to write this on the docket, that I remember one time I was hanging with Nikki, I can say that, and T-Baby, I can say that. It was a late night, we were playing cards, and they brought up to me the fact that essentially my responsibility as a black person. So I was one of those, I don't see color, but we all the same. So I don't get it. That type
non-confrontational.
There we go. I was so non-confrontational that none of it mattered. Then they brought up the fact that, but it matters to other people, that how people see you matters, right? So if the people that you're talking about get pulled over, it's not the same as you get pulled over, because other people see you differently. And so though you may have this idealistic mindset of what the world is supposed to be like, that's not how the world is. That type of feeling. And so, but in saying that, back to the conversation we were talking about, we used to have, often, not necessarily debates, but long conversations about the use of that word. And, even if I'm going to use it, I shouldn't be accepting of other people using it that are not of this culture. More specifically, white people. Playing rugby, I was very free with anybody who used it. In rugby, most people are white. Most people that in America, most rugby players are white. And so I was very free with all my friends who use it. I was like, they don't mean nothing by it. They just calling us that.
I know you lying.
Well, that's exactly what you would say. And I came to realize quickly that was not the case. I was still N-word whether I was with them or not with them. Exactly. And I was treated as N-word when I was with them and when I wasn't. And so it was just interesting how you live and you learn. That's what they say. You live and you learn. So, but
and it would kill me how they would be like whenever I would bring it up and it would be an issue for me, they would be like, well, I'm just playing, like, I don't mean anything by it and da-da-da. But if I'm telling you I don't like it, then don't do it.
Very true. Very true. And
on top of that, you don't advocate for me any other time.
But you're not talking about me, so...
No, okay. Just certain people who would say it.
Yes.
And it was like, if you're not fighting for any plights or anything that I'm going through, so I'll be darned if I'm about to let this white person sit up in my face and say that. No. Sorry, podcast.
Paquisha came out. Paquisha came out real quick. It took me to it. I had to learn. Only because so I didn't have to go through that through high school. Actually, through college, I never had to experience that of a white person often saying that word around me. And so in my head, it was just kind of, it wasn't, I mean, I would hear white people say it, but then they realized how a black person was around, so they wouldn't say it anymore. Mm-hmm. Whereas the point of time we're talking about, I had friends who would say it often, and they would mainly say it because a black person was around. So like, what's up, my nigga? What's up? And I was okay with it only because I didn't think much of it. Whereas I was clearly in the wrong. Because it just wasn't, it should not have been acceptable for me to... All that to say, we still have some growing to do on the word. Mm-hmm. And I'm talking about as a culture, but I mean, even as a family, I mean, I don't know if I want my kids saying it or not. I don't think about it, but I say it. I try to limit how much I say it, but I still say it.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll have conversations about it and stuff like when that time comes up and all of that.
Yeah. Anyway, nigga. I'm talking to the podcast. I'm not talking to you. See, I'm talking to the people. Okay, anyway. So, all that to say, babe.
Yes.
Okay, hold on. So, are we black?
Yes.
Are we black enough?
Yes.
So, you saying as college graduate, MBA, soon to be lawyer at Southern University. You black? You sure? You went to private school most of your life. You don't really know if you black, right? Okay, as a college graduate, MS, teacher at a university at 4 different universities.
All the universities in Louisiana.
3 universities and 2 universities, 2 colleges right now. Am I black enough? Is this enough for my black card not to be revoked, or for it for me to say that I'm black enough? You think?
It's enough for me. Know who got something to say about it?
Yeah. And I think that's the point. I think it's the point of this episode. Is just kind of, I grew up thinking I had to show how black I was, or try to be black enough, or try to live up to this quote unquote standard of blackness.
Yeah.
To see all the movies and watch all the shows, listen to all the music. I didn't even get to black music and black television shows, black movies that we're supposed to see, or we're supposed to know, black history that we're supposed to just have ingrained in our... I didn't know the black national anthem until I met her. I'm sorry, I didn't know it. And I ain't gonna hold you, it was like 10 years into knowing her. So like 3 years ago.
We were watching something and it played and I knew all the words and you were like...
I was like, I've heard the song. I just didn't know the song. I didn't know the words. People know the words. I didn't know the thing. But there are certain things that, again, when am I black enough? Like, I've defied all the odds of being black. As far as I look like this, and I am an instructor at a university. 4 of them. And it's not black enough. So, anyway, all that to say, that's the point I was trying to get to, is that, you melanin, you look like this, you grew up in the culture, Trigger, you black enough. Okay.
Yeah, I wish I would have had like more of this like no BS attitude back then.
Or being able to hear somebody like this say like, no, you straight. Because I mean it took a lot to get to this point, trust me.
It does, but
to get to this feeling, that no BS feeling is come up.
It's all a part of growing.
It is. And so I'm glad at least we got to this point. But you still have your doubts. You still have your...
we still got a long way to go.
You still have your... okay, now am I fitting in with my friends enough to be black enough? And that type of thing. At least I still do. I still have this, it's in the back of your mind because you've had that since you were a kid, that, okay, am I, enough? So, anyway, this was a great episode. I think so too.
I really liked it. I like that type. I like these types of conversations.
Nah, it was too deep for you, remember?
No, I didn't say too deep. I said, it's a deep episode. I can take it.
It wasn't. I mean, it wasn't deep. I thought it was just, No, it was deep.
You were not picking up what I was putting down. I gotta stop watching
Around the Town. Funky Clown. That's a Marvin Kids episode. See, Marvin Kids is one of my favorites. Anyway. All right. Thank you for taking the stage. Shout out.
Yeah.
Shout out Young Sir for reminding us of where we messed up in our last episode. No, he don't be doing it. Okay, anyway. You got anything else to say?
I'm black and I'm proud.
Okay.
I can't really say it loud because Melon is asleep.
You're sounding your age more and more every day. By your age, I mean 57. That's how old you sound.
Still I rise.
Oh, okay. 67. I meant 67. All right. Appreciate y'all for taking the stage.
Thank you.
Y'all have a good one.